Hi, how are you? So this is going to be a very long video, and I don't apologize for it because I wish that when I got started with bullet journaling, I had a video like this to watch because it would help guide me into the right direction behind what I wanted to do to get my life in order. This year is my second year for bullet journaling, and my first year, God, I remember being I'm still excited to do this. And if I can give any piece of advice for anyone who's watching, don't be freaking out or don't be intimidated by what you see on YouTube or Pinterest from people who look like they're professional BUJO artists. You know what I mean? So for example, my first year, this is what a collection looked like in my book. You know, I just wrote down everything that I needed to write down. And sure, maybe I added a picture or two, you know? This is great. I love the layout of it, but then eventually I gave myself more time and I wanted to be more artistic, and then I pushed myself a little bit more. And this is another example of a collection that I got into later on in the year. So you'll get there if you have the time, and then the more time you put into it, you'll get there. Now, when it comes to buying the actual journal, yes, it is a little bit tricky because it's hard to tell what you're going to like when you're buying something off the internet. And there are a lot of bookstores that don't really let you flip through the pages. So I understand completely. And my best advice is to just go for the cheaper option if you're not sure, and then go from there, because at least you wouldn't have invested so much money on something that you're not going to use. My first journal came from Daiso, which is a Japanese dollar store. I mean, this book was $4, but still, it was a great book because the pages were thick enough to hold up against a few markers. And I was like, whoa, okay. I was totally not expecting that to happen. And then it just ended up being a really good, I wanted to use it again this year, to be honest, but I can't find them in the stores anymore. So I'm not sure if they still sell them. But if you see a bullet journal inside Daiso, get your hands on it. Didn't look like this, obviously. These are just stickers that I printed out of Disney landscapes, but yeah, you can totally customize the covers of pretty much any book that you want. This book that I'm featuring in this video, after playing around with it, I would never buy this for myself because there's just too much ghosting for my liking. This $5 journal sucks in comparison to this $4 one from the Japanese bargain store. So if I had to guide you and if you had a Daiso near you, I'd be like, go get the Daiso one. But, you know, I understand that not everybody has a Daiso, and Michael's is easy accessible, and it's still only $5. What do you want? It's $5. I don't know 100% if this is accurate, but a quick Google search told me that this is only 80 GSM. GSM means grams per square meter. The higher the number, the heavier the paper, the more it can withstand those markers. So for example, this is just your standard markers that I use in my bullet journal every day, and it completely ghosted. So going in a different direction, but staying along the same price point at like $8 or $10, you can get yourself an actual daily planner from Target or Walmart or whatever, and you can do bullet journaling in this guy. I show you how to do that in this video too. But if you want to ask me what my favorite book is, I'm going to go ahead and give that award to the Scribbles That Matter book. I love this book so much. It comes with 2 different ribbons. It has pockets in the back. And the only downside to this is that the pages are a little bit creamy, which threw me off because I came from my other journal, which had bright white pages. Here's the difference. You can totally see it. And you know, doing designs and drawing, it's like, oh, this is really creamy, but I don't care. The GSM in this book is 120, and it holds up pretty well to markers. I love this book so much. I did try the Lloydstrom journal, but I didn't like it because I thought that the pages were too yellow and the ghosting was too bad for that price point. I nearly forgot to mention this. So in the title, I did put that I have an easy, medium, and hard level for this guide to bullet journaling, but it's not about what's easy and what's hard. Everyone's difficulty level is at a different point. And just because you don't want to have something that's full of colors and photos, it doesn't mean that you can't do it. So I decided to rename the sections into the casual journalist, the nifty journalist, and the hardcore journalist. To me, that makes more sense. This bullet journal I got from Michael's, and the reason why I chose this one is because it was the cheapest price point at $5, and you'll have to excuse the fact that I ripped the label. I was just so excited about opening it. Then when you open up the book, it's got nice white beautiful pages, and the first few sheets are for your index. The index will help you reference pages a lot quicker. Now, let's get started on the key, which is what every newbie should have in their bullet journal. The key is great to have in your journal because it's going to help you streamline the whole process and actually make everything move a lot quicker. Having a symbol for every function is great. So for example, the first one that I wrote down is task, which is a square. I then moved to a circle, which equals event for me. Then I used a triangle to indicate that I have an appointment to do. After that, I have a completely blocked out box, which means I've completed the task. An X'd out box means that the item was canceled. Then I have a forward arrow because that tells me I migrated the task to another date. I also use an asterisk to make important notes. You can use any symbol that you want. It really doesn't matter so long as that you're happy with the whole process. So I have other examples underneath this dotted line. I have a little swirl, which means an item is in progress. So if you've already started but you haven't completed it, you can do something like that. You can also do an exclamation point for a reminder. For me, I don't really use that because I also have my important asterisk and I kind of feel like those two are the same. And my last example is of a backwards arrow, which tells me that I have scheduled something, like an appointment I needed to make. I can't stress this enough. Everything that you do in your bullet journal, do it in pencil first. Believe me, you will be happy that you did. Now, when you buy something at a value price, you're going to get a value product. So as you can see, these Sharpie pens goes through the paper, and that's not ideal, so keep that in mind when you are doing your layouts. Now, getting started on the casual journalist side of things, all you really need is a pen and the book. That's it. You don't need a bunch of different stuff. So here what I have out is one example of a monthly layout. I wrote January, and then all you have to do is write down the dates in one column all the way down. You can do symbols like representing letters for the days, or you can write down the days and then the numbers right next to it. This is your month at a glance, so you don't have to have every single thing listed on each day on the side of it, but you definitely want to put down the things that are important to know. Now there's another way to do a month at a glance in this category, and I wanted to showcase it. So what you have to do is write down the month and then separate the page into two different parts. The left side of the page is going to be for your appointments, and the right side of the page is going to be for all of your important dates or your to-dos. And here's a quick example of what it would look like when you have a couple of days filled in. Now moving on to the nifty side of things, you're going to create a monthly layout that's going to spread out across two different pages. This is just one example of many different variations that are out there on the internet, but I'm going to show you as much as I can in this video. Now each box on this layout is 7 by 7, and if you haven't already, look up different ways you can hand letter to make this as creative as possible. Remember, it's all according to your taste. Now even though I intended to close up every single box, I wanted to show you what it looks like if you just leave it open with little crosses. I think it's really cute and it's a fun little creative way to do this layout. Now you notice I messed up, right? Don't freak out if you mess up. There's a beautiful thing that man invented called whiteout. Utilize it, it'll be your best friend. And there it is, one nifty monthly layout. And then there's this piece for all of my hardcore journalists out there. So first off, let me just say that I did not come up with the pine tree idea by myself. I found that on Pinterest. And as far as the layout goes, I'm pretty sure this is an accumulation of every single image I've ever seen on Google and Pinterest. So let's just dive in and get creative. Each square in this layout is 5 by 5, and when it comes to themes, you can do whatever you want. It could be Disney, it could be Harry Potter, it could be witchy stuff, you know, space stuff. Whatever it is that you're into, just go for it. Unless you're showing it off to many people, you're the only one who's going to see your bullet journal, so you can make it as personal as you'd like. And then more ways that you can customize this to your liking is that you can change the background behind every single square. This one is actually one of my favorite backdrops to do because it gives it more of a sketchbook, school notebook kind of vibe. Add a different color just to make it look a little bit deeper. And don't get freaked out if you don't make it perfect. Or you can use the exact same color in your entire spread for that monochromatic feel, which is also pretty sick. Now in your weekly layout, you can get more into depth into what you need to do every day. All you have to do is write down the days and then separate them amongst the 2 pages. In this journal, each row is about 8 spaces down. What's great about this is that you have some extra space to put in any weekly trackers, doodles, notes, whatever you want. Now this particular layout focuses on doing your weekly spread in columns versus rows, and I also show you how to do different things to stylize this whole weekly spread. Each column is about 7 spaces wide, and that leaves plenty of room to add your to-do list, grocery list, habit trackers, notes, and again, whatever you want. Play around with shapes, play around with colors, play around with different types of handwriting. Just have fun with whatever it is that you're doing. This layout was so much fun to do. I'm carrying on the same sort of theme like I had in the monthly spread down to the weekly, and I'm also showing you different examples of how you can do the backdrops of each day. Each box in this spread is about 13 across and 11 down. This is one of the simplest trackers to do because all you're doing is writing down every day of the month. And then for the tracking part, all you have to do is either highlight, cross out, or block out the days that you completed that goal. This is also a simple weekly tracking system because all you're doing is writing down the days of the week and then highlighting or Xing out that specific goal. You can also do it bullet style or do a simplified version of the previous tracker. And here is an example of what a tracker would look like if you integrate it into your weekly spread. If you don't have enough horizontal space, then go vertical. This is one great way to do a monthly tracker. You can also do an outline of the month that you're in instead of having to write every single number. It sort of looks like Tetris. And here are a couple examples of the weekly trackers for the Nifty Journalist. You'll notice that once I integrate a habit tracker into the weekly spread, I decided to go for icons instead of just writing out the subjects. It's just another fun, creative way to do this. Now in this category, you can really take something and have some super fun with it. So what I did is I created different types of pictures and integrated a monthly tracker within them. So for one example, I have a jar that's full of marbles, and each marble can be a specific date, and then you just color it in as you fill in that tracker. I also put a label around the jar and labeled it gym, and then for every time I go to the gym, each marble will be colored. You can also do a circle tracker, which kind of resembles a poker chip. And now that I'm editing it, I kind of wish that I did do a poker chip. But what you can do is put the dates all around the circle and then color it in as you go. Weekly trackers are just as fun, and so for example here I have some Christmas lights with each light representing one day, and then I have a little bee honeycomb. You'll see that I've accidentally added an extra honeycomb, so then I added a few more just so that it balances it out. So what I did in this spread is I added in 2 different snowflakes for 2 different trackers, and then you can color in each part of the snowflake for any specific day. And of course this happens to every YouTuber. I wasn't recording when I did these 2 layouts, so I'm a little upset that I couldn't show you how I did these. But on the left hand side is the casual side of things, the right hand side is the nifty side of things. On the casual side, all you have to do is list out all the books you want to read. And on the nifty side, you can just create a little faux piece of paper and then write down the name of the book as well as whether you liked it, it was okay, or bleh, never again. Now, if you have done any sort of image searching on the internet about bullet journaling, you've seen a page that looks similar to this. This is probably the most creative thing I've ever seen on the internet, which is why I wanted to use this as an example of a really cool hardcore collection list. With this layout, what you want to do is write the title of the book on the binding, and then when you're done reading that book, you color it in. So by the time you're done, you have this beautiful, colorful page that's so fun to look at. And here is a flip through of what your journal would look like. This option is fantastic for those people who just don't want to create their own planner themselves. I got this from Target. It was $7.99, and this is a perfect planner to do any sort of bullet journaling in because it has some leftover pages from the last year which you can totally reformat, and then you have enough space to do your monthly spreads, your weekly spreads, and you can also add in trackers, and I'm going to show you how to do all of that in this video as well. But first, a fun hack for you guys. So both of these books that I bought didn't offer any sort of storage solutions, and when you're on the road, it's fun to take stickers and washi and whatever types of mementos that you want to adhere to your book, but you can't really do that unless you have pockets. So right now, Michaels has a packet of pockets of different sizes for $5, and I'm going to use one of them to adhere it to the front cover of the book, and then bam, instant storage. You can also make a pocket yourself by using cardstock and any sort of adhesive. You don't have to go out and buy anything. And there are a lot of videos on YouTube that show you how to make a pocket. And now diving into the monthly spread of this planner. Now there are so many things that you can do to alter the look of this spread, but one of the things that I'm going to use is washi tape. Washi tape is going to change your life because it's going to help you sort of section out places that don't have any sort of hard line. So as you can see, there are 2 spots at the top and 2 spots at the bottom because those are not days in January. So what I did is I actually added in a strip of washi, kind of like a header, because then I can use that space as extra to-do list or important reminders, and that's exactly what I did here. Another way to jazz up your planner is to use washi tape with icons in it so it gives you a visual aid to what you're doing. So for example, if you're traveling somewhere, use washi that has planes on it. Makes it look cute. Using icon stickers is a great way to go, especially when you're trying to plan something out. It also sort of helps to do a habit tracker on a full monthly spread. So if you have little gym stickers, just put stickers every single time you work out and automatically you have an integrated habit tracker in your entire month spread. You can also use flags to mark important days. Now, if you have days in your calendar that are completely blank and you want to add a little bit more color, then you can fill them in with stickers, washi tape. You can even doodle in them to give them a little more personality. Have fun with your weekly spread as well. If there's a date in there that is completely blank, again, cover it up with stickers. There are many planner stickers on the market that you can just do your tracking on, and it makes it so much fun and it makes it so cute just to add more personality to every page. You can even integrate a simple habit tracker. These are only some of the thousands of planner stickers that are out on the market, and a lot of them save you space. For example, if you have a work schedule to write in, instead of taking space on those lines, use these little tabs that says work and then fill in the times that you work. Here's another example of using washi tape to add more color into your planner. Now, if you can probably tell, it's all about the visual aid in this case, so don't neglect those colorful pens, because colorful pens can also be an indicator of things that you should prioritize. So maybe you use one color for one subject and another color for another subject, like work, school, home. It's just another way to be organized and efficient. Now, going back to the very beginning of this book, there was a 4-year year-at-a-glance page, and I kind of feel like that's a bit excessive. So if you don't need anything like that, you can definitely take the current year and use that as your habit tracker. Just take one subject and highlight all the days that you did it. Very easy. I feel like I've been saying the word tracker for the last 5 hours. Okay, so here is another way that you can keep up with whatever it is that you want to keep up with. Using the 2019 planning section, you can just integrate little icons that you draw yourself, or you can use colors to indicate the things that you've been doing. Another easy hack. Another great way to reformat some pages is to glue another page to it. So for example, you have these open months that they're old, you don't need them anymore. Glue a piece of graph paper or lined paper or scrapbook paper for that matter. Give it some color, give it some pizzazz, do whatever the hell you want with it, as long as you have fun. Here are some examples of some fantastic washi, and they come in different sizes, shapes, colors, patterns, styles, and you can really have your own personality down to a T by using these. Let's say you have a page that you want to be able to access quicker. Just take some washi tape and then tape it along the edge. That way you can see it when the book is closed and you can flip to it a lot easier. Now for the planner, because the tabs are hidden behind the covers of the book, you're not going to be able to see the side marker. So what I'm doing is putting washi tape at the very top of the page and creating a little tab that sticks out. That way I can see very important pages. Now if you want a page marker that's a bit more mobile, use some washi tape around the edge of a paper clip. This gives you a little fun flair, and you can use this with ribbon, you can use it with bows, you can do a lot of things when it comes to making paperclip page markers. I like this version because then you can use it in any book that you want. And here I'm using little tiny stickers as bullet points, so that way you can do your to-do list a little bit differently. Now here's an example of what it would look like if a casual journalist integrated washi tape, stickers, and hydration trackers within a daily/weekly spread. Obviously a theme and a color scheme would look more cohesive. I'm just here to give you the idea. You go be creative. You can even use the designs on washi tape as your bullet points. The back section is great, but what if you want to use that for tracking as well and it says future planning at the top? Well, all you need to do is grab some washi tape and some letter stickers and create your own header. That way you can do whatever you want on the page. Let's say you made a mistake that even whiteout can't fix, and believe me, I've been there. So instead of ripping out the page, which you can do, it's okay, you can just glue another page on top of it to hide the mistake, and then add a lined piece of paper or anything like that so you can write on it and it won't interfere with the pattern or design. Or you can just glue the pages together. That way it looks like nothing ever happened. Now this works great on paper with a higher GSM, but this gives you the idea of what you're supposed to do. Did you use a marker that you didn't test beforehand? Or did one of your markers just fail you and did some major ghosting on your page? There is a way to fix that as well. Same concept is to glue another piece of paper on top of it, but have fun with it this time. I'm recycling paper from an old bag and gluing it to the page. But important side note, make sure that you make room for a test page in your book. You will thank yourself in the future. Then I'm using some washi stickers that I found on Wish to give it an old-timey feel, and I'm turning this page into a journal entry. No matter how you do your bullet journal, make sure that you are doing it for yourself only. As long as it keeps you productive, it will be perfect. With my current setup, I'm going to show you what pens that I use, but I never actually had to branch outside of what I already owned because I've always been obsessed with Sharpie pens since they've come out. I love using Sharpie pens, period, but because the actual markers bleed through paper, could never use it to take notes until they designed the Sharpie pen. And luckily, these work fantastic in my bullet journal, so I never had to try the microns or any other pen that everybody else uses. So for writing, these are the two pens that I use, the medium Sharpie pen and the fine point Sharpie pen. The BIC Velocity is one of my favorite pens. They come in a pack of like pink, blue, purple, green, and I think a darker blue. I love these pens so much, but these are a bit of a thicker ink, so if you're trying to get precision, you're not going to get it with this. But if you did need a pen that had tiny writing, I would suggest the Uni Style Fit Pens. This is a 0.28 millimeter. When I tell you this, you can write the tiniest words. You can write the tiniest words, and it comes in a whole bunch of colors, which I do have, and I'm not about to pull them all out. My absolute favorite markers to use are the Tombow dual brush pens, and then I have the Marvy color and markers. These guys are freaking awesome because once you start doing some hand calligraphy, they have this ombre effect. They're beautiful. The only issue that I have with these markers is that the color name is not listed on the actual pen. So you have to guess what color is what and what it will look like. So what I did in my journal for this year is I did a swatch test and I have the color written next to it, and then I just labeled it my damn self by using a label maker and some tape just to secure it. For hand lettering, I love to use the Tombow Fudenosuke pens. I have the hard and the soft tip, and I also love to use the Pentel Touch Sign Pen. Now, these guys, you have to make sure that you get the ones that have glitter on the outside because there's another version of this exact same marker that does not have glitter. You don't want that tip. It's not the same. Yes, I have them. Yes, they are worth it. The Zebra Mildliners. You need them. This is the unicorn of my entire pen collection. The Uni-Ball Signo White Gel Pen. Nothing stands up to this guy. Nothing. Now, with everything that I've said in this video, just because I like it doesn't mean that you're gonna like it. You're gonna have to try things out for yourself to see how things work for you. If you plan on being creative in your journal, you're going to need a small little ruler and an eraser. That way you can take these with you on the go. And this eraser is amazing because it doesn't smear and it's perfect. I love it. Is that it? I think that's it. No, I know I just threw a bunch of information at you, but if it helped you, I'm glad that I did. And if you liked what you saw and you learned something today, please click on the coffee link down below in the description box to send me a coffee. Coffee has helped me run my channel ever so efficiently, and I just love coffee. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please share this with your friends. Don't keep me a secret, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.